Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light releases a ridiculous ad on Twitter and fails epically. NHL to cancel Pride jerseys next year. Hunter Biden gets a plea deal with no jail time. You have the U.S. Navy knowing that the submarine was sunk days before actually telling the public. Disney fires their chief diversity officer. Target pushing for next day delivery. SpaceX now valued at $150 billion. Mazda going to bring back the rotary engine. Ford is prepping for major layoffs, and Honda recalls over 1 million vehicles. All that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Now, other interesting culture news, you have the NHL canceling their Pride jerseys. Will this affect their sales? We'll see. Now, this is the first time in my life I've actually seen businesses move away during Pride Month from Pride merchandise and organizations. I mean, it really seemed to really gain momentum maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s. And ever since then, it's just been exponentially increasing with the number of businesses adopting it, the more number of businesses, in my opinion, some of these businesses inauthentically using it as an advertising mechanism. Some are authentic and they are wholeheartedly part of the organization. And I think every business, that's your right to decide what you're for or against. But in my opinion, have it be an authentic position you take. And this is the first time businesses are starting to move away from it, which from a cultural perspective, that's unprecedented. It'll be fascinating to see how long that trend goes. And does it continue into next year with the Pride Month Pride Month next year? But there's also Pride events throughout the year. Will those also be affected? Now, the NHL announced that they will not wear the Pride uniform in warm-ups during next season. Now, that being said, there's plenty of time for them to reverse their decision. We saw this famously, or I guess not too famously, with the LA Dodgers, where they invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which is a offensive parody of Catholic and Christian Catholicism beliefs. They originally invited them, then folks with the religious faith appropriately protested, saying they're mocking our religion, quite literally, using the cross as a stripper pole. And the baseball team originally said, "Hey, this is clearly offending, religious people. We're not going to allow them to come on prem or come to the event." But of course, they acquiesced to the community of I don't know what community, the sisterhood community. The baseball team have actually said, "Oh yeah, you come on site, and we don't care about people, their religious faith. As long as it's Christian or Catholic, that's fine. You can mock them." Ironically, these are the people who say they want equality for all, but clearly not, in my opinion, for that specific example right there. And I mention that because the NHL tomorrow could reverse this. Now, this came more to the cultural forefront when in January you had a player called Ivan Provorov, and he refused to wear his team's Pride jersey, and he cited, I believe at the time, religious reasonings. And kind of makes sense. I mean, his name, I'm going to guess it's Russian, or in another country where religion is much more prevalent, I wish the United States would increase their religious affiliations as well. Time shall tell to see if that's a thing. Now, of course, he was immediately ostracized from society. Everyone criticized him. But to his credit, he actually stood by his convictions, which these days is exceedingly rare. Now, you have teams, and most likely they're going to have... They also know that the teams will most likely have nights in which they're honoring groups of people. So they'll still have rainbow jerseys available for fans and players if they want them. This is specific for the warm-up session. Now, the official reason that the NHL and the representatives gave for the cancellation of the jerseys was they were a distraction, which it is a distraction to have bright colors on a uniform when you're going so fast maybe, but I don't suspect that's the real reason that they canceled this initiative. It seems more and more as society goes on, almost life is like a parody of the Seinfeld world, where you had Kramer wanted to do the AIDS walk to raise money for the AIDS organization. And everyone on the AIDS walk carried a pin, in his little AIDS pin, to show that you were part of the group. And Kramer was like, no, I want the pin. I'm raising money. I'm walking. I'm raising money for this, but I don't want to wear the pin. And everyone in the organization just bullied him, impestulated him, and eventually actually assaulted him so that he would wear that little pin. And I think there's a lot of people out there where they have a lot of their faith, they have a lot of their beliefs, and they do raise money and they do certain things, but they don't want it to be a lapel pin and they don't want to advertise it. Now, from a cultural perspective, is this going to hurt or help the NHL? Traditionally, NHL has been much more masculine. You have fights going back and forth. It was more of a niche sport. It wasn't, prime time. Everyone. It's not like the pigskin where people throw around the football and people worship it like it's a religion. It was more of a niche. When you saw this transition, pun moderately intended, where they wanted to make it more family friendly, decrease the fights, and make it more mainstream. So of course you can get more eyeballs on the TV, which you can tell advertisers, make more money. It'll be interesting to see if maybe they're trying to push back and make it more of that niche again. So in the short term, I think this might actually decrease their sales. Let me know in the comments if you think this ban is going to decrease their sales or increase their sales. Are they appealing to their current and their past customer base? Or is the new customer base going to be so outraged or that they're actually going to cancel their season tickets, not buy any more merchandise? We'll see. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate it if you take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. Each one of those things greatly helps out the channel. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies, heck, tell your friends, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.